Cheryl says it's fair to say in the early days we were focused on growth. I don't think you disagree.
No, I think that's a gross understatement. Look, Cheryl, I've known Cheryl a long time. I thought Julia did a great job, but I think Cheryl was very elegantly on message, and that her job on your air today and on some other people's air today was to deflect the criticism, to say, hey, we're really working on this. But I got to tell you, there's just, you can't turn around without finding another example of a problem. Just this week, we found out there are dozens of fake accounts impersonating other tech CEOs like Tim Cook and Sundar Pichai and Elon Musk. This has been going on for years. It's trivially easy to fix, and they haven't paid any attention to it.
Walt, as you're talking, we're getting a headline out of Reuters. Marguerite Vestager, the EU competition commissioner, says that a breakup of Facebook would be a solution of last resort. Do you actually see anyone legitimately making this happen around the world?
I think that it'll be very hard to make it happen. I personally think it would be beneficial for competition, but it would require a whole change in the antitrust philosophy that has taken hold in the United States in the last 40 or 50 years, and that goes all the way up to the Supreme Court. So I don't think it's likely to be the first thing people do. But I think what folks ignore is that in that Chris Hughes article, which called for the breakup, he also called for strong new regulation, and that's what I believe in.
Walt, the message from Sheryl Sandberg today, how much of that do you think was geared towards investors and lawmakers, but also potentially towards its own employees or prospective hires, especially when you do have reports, including one out of CNBC yesterday, showing that the company's been struggling to hire talent?
Morgan, I think it's really all those audiences. I think you're right. This was a public-facing, reassuring kind of report with very little in the way of specifics. And I want to pick up on something Roger McNamee said, which is they need to rethink their business model, the business model that involves the word I use is stealing people's privacy in order to sell advertising. I don't think that's on the table at the moment. I think there are some product changes on the table, but I don't think that's on the table. And until it's on the table, there won't be fundamental change there or at Google.
And Walt, that leads to a couple questions I had for you. Do you still use Google?
I use it about 80% less than I used to use it, John, and I'm trying to get it entirely out of my digital diet.
Oh, wow. For similar reasons?
I'm sorry?
For similar reasons to why you quit Facebook?
Yes, for similar reasons. And by the way, just as with Facebook, I like the people at Google, but I don't like the business model, and I don't feel like I want to be part of it. So I don't use their search engine anymore. I don't use Chrome. I don't use Gmail. I have a Gmail account, but it's kind of dormant. I don't use it. And I'm trying to get away from Google Maps as much as possible, though that is harder.
See, Walt, I think this is fascinating. All the things you quit. You even say, I don't use WhatsApp, but if you did, you'd quit it. You're trying to tamp back your Google use. All of this from the man who revolutionized coverage of personal technology. What should our viewers take away from that?
I think the viewers should use whatever tech makes them comfortable, but I would like them to understand that they shouldn't be comfortable with surveillance technology. And that is what Facebook is built on, and that is what Google is built on, and to some extent Amazon, though to a lesser extent. And what I would say if I still were writing my columns is what I said when I was writing my columns, which is you've got to watch out for companies that are are trying to steal your privacy.
Lastly, Walt, people want to know, does Walt still avoid YouTube? I think the last I heard is you still watch the occasional clip.
I do. I admit that. But I also have to say that for whatever reason, my personal YouTube feed has not been infiltrated with the kind of stuff that other people's have been. And that might drive me to quit. But yes, I've not been able to totally quit YouTube. But I'm working on all these things, Carl.